All right, boys. Hope everyone had a great week. Father's Day week or Father's Day weekend or whatever you want to call it. How's everyone?
Mine went kind of exactly like we talked about on the last podcast. Yeah, I think it was. It was very simple. You know, it was a good breakfast, a little quiet time, some golf with some family, and that's what happened. So yeah, it was a great day. It was actually my kids too. They this year they all painted rocks for me. So I got about 8 rocks given to me. I'll say Dad, on them or something. So I'm like, thanks guys. I'll add this to my collection. Yeah. Nice. How about you guys?
It's great. Pretty typical Father's Day. Nothing out of the blue. Super casual. Yeah. Enjoyed it. Like you said, just relaxing. We actually went to a local beach by us. It's about an hour drive. Okay. It's like a little quiet town. Drove up there, had a little meal on the river.
Oh, nice.
Don't worry, there's still 11 kids running around.
Yeah, just
I made it sound super chill. It was still super insane. Yeah, 77 bathroom trips later, No, it was good. It was all good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mine was super golf filled as well. My wife crushed it this year. So I actually was out by Oakmont for the US Open for the start of the start.
Did you bring us home any
Open.
Merch? I mean,
a lot of merch was purchased.
I did not get anything.
I did not
either.
either.
Well, they didn't have your guys' size with the
extra buff
Italian medium.
Yeah. Schmediums. boys schmediums. Well, I did Oakmont and then I came back and my wife suggested that I go play golf that morning, and I air quote reluctantly was like, okay, I guess I will.
But the kids.
Yeah, no, please, I want to. Meanwhile, I'm like already booking the tea time on my phone.
Putting your cleats on.
Yeah, but she crushed it. So yeah, very much a golf filled weekend.
Nice.
Well, look, let's jump into today's topic. It's all about traveling with kids, expectations versus reality, and I'll kick it off with a question. What's your worst travel story with the kids? The one that makes you question why you even left the house. You guys are welcome to kick it off.
How about you kick it off? You got one loaded?
You know what? I do have one loaded. One that is so deeply entrenched in our memory that we struggle to let go of it.
It's a safe place, Naveed.
It is a safe place.
You can talk here.
Well, let me first start off by saying Wilmington, North Carolina, we will never be back.
Wilmington is a fantastic.
It's beautiful.
area.
Actually, let me take that back. Wilmington, North Carolina, we will be back when the kids are well behaved.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll be back soon.
Don't blame it on the city, Naveed.
That's so true. That's so true. Well, look, it was, maybe about 4 years ago, close to 4 years ago, we only had my eldest at the time. And it was also our first flight sort of post that weird COVID era that had gone on. And it was a connecting flight because we all live in Cleveland. And as everyone knows, Cleveland is not the best port for getting to spots. So everything's usually a connecting flight. So anyway, my wife had G'd me up and said that, we can do this. So we did, let's call it 4 total flights, 3 of them, perfect. The 4th flight, i.e. the leg from Charlotte to Cleveland on the way back, is just like the stuff of like nightmares. So it's only a 45-minute flight.
Right,
just
that's a short flight.
To contextualize. And this is infant in lap territory.
Okay.
So I'm in the middle seat. My wife's got the window with our daughter on her lap, and there's some random guy sitting next to me. So we did the standard thing. iPad on, gave her a snack, and at some point during that, she smears, I don't know what she smeared, all over the iPad so she couldn't, see it anymore. And she's too young to like verbalize what's going on. So she starts like screaming. And, we're trying everything. Yeah. We're trying to clean the iPad. It's made it 10 times worse. And then,
smearing.
Disaster. And so we're trying to, we've got sensory toys, all the snacks. Put it this way. We've tried maybe 10 or 12 different things to try and get her to calm down. Yeah. Nothing has worked. At one point, my wife goes down to grab something from the bag. My daughter throws a Mike Tyson-esque left hook, catches my wife square on the nose.
Oh, man.
She yelps like in pain, and she like instantly grabs her nose. And when she lifts like her hand away, we're talking like just blood gushing from her nose. At this point, my daughter's more freaked out. She's screaming even more. Yeah, the flight attendant or stewardess or whatever comes over.
What is the guy sitting next to you doing
the guy sitting next to us was like this like Italian American Guido looking guy.
Yeah.
He had like his Rolex on. He had a whole bunch of swag on.
Sounds good looking.
It sounds amazing.
Wasn't talking about either of you guys. He basically turned like, wait, let me figure this out. He turns 90 degrees, so his legs are now in the aisle, so his back is because he wants nothing to do
with
blood
exposure.
Well, he just didn't want anything to do with us. And he's like cranking up like the volume on his. The stewardess or flight attendant or whatever comes over. This is the first time I've ever seen this. She sees what's going on and like she has this like weird look and is kind of like, oh, and then just walks off because she's like, what? She just walked up.
No help?
You got like a wife gushing with blood, me frantically trying to do something, this passive aggressive guy who's got like his legs out like in the aisle. And at that point, I had exhausted every option and I went, you know what? I just don't care.
Yeah.
And for 45 minutes straight, my kid screamed from Charlotte all the way to Cleveland. And
there you go.
There comes a point when your kid is screaming that it just kind of like goes from being so loud because you're so hyper focused that everyone's listening to it suddenly becomes like really quiet. I mean, the screaming is happening, but in your mind it's just gone quiet. And so
it's called Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
I think it's called going to your happy place.
Something like that.
I did chug a lot of Benadryl in that moment as well. But that was.
I cannot believe that stewardess didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Like that's like. I mean, you have two. You were either on Spirit or you were on American Airlines.
No, we were on a. I won't name and shame. We were on a reputable airline.
Listen, it's Charlotte's Hub. We all know what airline you were on. I think we've all had that experience.
Sorry, I meant I was on my private jet.
My question is, did you get some of those baby MMA gloves for your daughter? I mean, it sounds like she's got some skill there. She's got some talent.
She actually does have climbing gloves, so she's like a big like climber, gymnastic, like into gymnastics and stuff like that. She has good upper body strength. So yeah, maybe MMA, jiu-jitsu, whatever.
So if you got with multiple kids, Andrew, when you're flying, and that obviously you're not all in the same row.
Yep.
So if someone starts screaming, crying, what's your response?
Dude, the nice part about it is like, it rarely does that happen.
Okay, yeah.
So if you think of like,
no need to flex on us.
No, just because we started like when you like how old was your daughter?
She was, I mean, around a year.
Yeah, so like we typically take our kids out pretty early on flights. And so with that, they kind of get used to it. But yeah, like when we're traveling, there's 13 of us. So if you think of the configuration of a plane, it's like we take up like 3 or 4 rows on one side.
Can I ask a dumb question? How do you buy the tickets for 13 people? Oh my gosh.
Talk about being an absolute pain.
Okay.
So Breeze Airways is the only airline that allows you to book up to 13 people on one reservation.
Is 13 the max number?
Yeah, 13 is the max number. Really weird.
That is
number,
crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody else we have to divide up between 2 bookings. So we'll do like a girl booking, a boy booking.
Okay, yeah.
And don't get me started. The airlines then think...
Are you in the boy booking or the girl booking?
Depends. What's crazy is then you have like... The airline thinks, oh man, this is a hot flight. So the second booking always costs 20%
the dynamic
more.
pricing
Dude,
kicks in.
it's so dumb.
So annoying.
Anyway, yeah, we divide them up and think like, okay, put a couple bigs with a couple littles. And then my Ann and I are typically up most of the flight, telling people to shut up and doing whatever. Just because like there'll be someone three rows in front of you crying or kicking the seat. And, we do a pretty good job of strategically trying to put the kids in places. But the screaming isn't really a big issue for us. They've kind of like,
Have you ever just been like, I don't know those people?
But my kids? No, we always screaming. Because when we come on, everybody's just like, oh no. This is like every stewardess, whatever you want to call them, so whatever they are, every flight attendant, they're all like, this is going to be terrible. And our kids, like, because we don't watch a lot of like TV, you give them an iPad and you give them like 4 movies to choose from, and they're just like in heaven. Yeah. They have their little packs of whatever they eat, and they're in heaven.
Does everyone get their own iPad? How does that work?
So I don't know. We got maybe like 6 or 7 iPads that get doled out in different variations. We've got those headphones that tether together.
Oh yeah.
So little kids can wear. Yeah. So like the the big with a little, and they have like little splitters. Yeah, I mean
that's great.
We've done a lot of work making sure that we can get in off planes. Pretty efficiently.
So what's your dad's style then when you're traveling? Are you stressed out, or does your wife take on stress?
I am. Neither of us are really stressed. My wife does a fantastic job of imagining what needs to happen.
Okay.
So typically every kid gets their own backpack, and inside that backpack is like a gallon Ziploc bag of.
Oh wow, you married the Type A then?
No, she's not Type A at all.
That sounds so Type A.
This is like preservation. This is like evolution. This is evolution. And this is evolution happening. It's like not Type A, but someone who's moving towards Type A to help. Just because you have to.
Based on survival.
Survival.
I only took 11 kids. Yeah.
So anyway. She'll pack whatever in it. So they'll have like, those markers that like color, they're clear, but then they turn into a color. Yeah. She'll have something like that. And there's some crayons, maybe like a little tiny Lego thing they build.
Yeah.
And so like we'll go out there, Arizona, it'll be a 4-hour flight, and the kid will be able to work through this bag. And typically they're not bored at all. They've got something to do the entire time. because she's always kind of pre-thinking of what. In fact, one time we drove down to New Orleans. Oof. Okay, 20 hours of driving. I think we had 5 kids at the time. Every single hour, they were able to open up another gift inside their bag.
Oh, wow. They had time.
So it was time. So like we'd be like, all right, next hour we stop for lunch, but the hour after that you can
You're 100% sure she's not type A.
That's a great idea, though.
But dude, it unlocked. It was like, the kids were looking forward to it. There was never, are we there yet? It was always like, how many more minutes till the next prize? How many more minutes till the next prize? So it was like obviously you still have breakdowns. You still have, all the bodily fluids you got to deal with on a car trip.
What about the kids?
6 kids? So anyway, the hack of just like packing these little Ziploc bags of
that's a great
mango,
that's
beef
really
sticks,
cool.
whatever it is.
That's really relevant to me because I'm about to embark, guys, on a 13-hour minivan car ride.
Ooh,
so
I didn't realize you were driving for this.
We're driving.
This vacation.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. We're
so
driving.
what prompted what prompted the drive versus fly? Like for you
amount
guys?
Of kids usually. You start looking at it, and
but there's a time limit, right? Like and I feel like people in Ohio feel like they can drive anything. That's what I've realized
because people are seeing the magic of 77, right? It starts in Ohio, it goes to Florida. So this is the Ohio thing. You just drive until the weather gets nice, and then you start going east till you hit a beach, and you're probably going to find a lot of Ohioans in those places. But it also comes down to like bringing stuff.
Yep.
So flying, like we've done that, and actually we had a really great trip last fall that we flew, and we like rolling up to the airport, and I would love to see you guys roll up because I had a double stroller. I had 2 car seats that we had to bring.
Yep.
One that we checked, one we installed into the on the plane. Each kid had a roller. Each kid had a backpack. And then somehow I have to break down this double stroller into a bag to do a gate check. So like it's just so much. And then you think of like all the sleeping stuff, and so there comes a point where you're like, all right, if it's drivable in one day, and we have a minivan, if we can fit everyone in the minivan, let's just power through.
We simply don't bring all of that stuff. We have now done this thing where we just rent all of it because it's too much effort. The thing that you mentioned about the car seats, nightmare. All the stroller stuff, nightmare. The pack and play, nightmare.
Yep. Pack and plays are nightmares.
We just found a place where the minute you arrive at your Airbnb or wherever, it's already there, and some of these places already like will pre-assemble everything for you.
No,
and
that's
it's already done. Well, that last trip that you referenced, how did that go?
Actually, the kids did really well.
Okay.
So they were just super excited to go. I've actually really wanted to take them out west. So they were really excited to go to like a new part of the country. And if you haven't been to the Southwest, it is like desert. It is like, it's really cool. And so for them, they were like, this is amazing. But the travel, we were split up a little bit.
Okay.
And I didn't have the youngest. Like she stayed with my wife, and she's the handful.
Yeah.
So,
How old is she?
And I was far enough away where I was just like, you know what? Is that them? I think they're all right.
Why is Matt in first class?
Right. And I had like my 3-year-old at the time right by me, and she was great. Like she was just watched a couple shows.
Yeah.
We put her in the car seat. So that was a thing too. We figured out early on, like when they're really small, but you still have to pay for a seat. The car seat actually really helps in a plane because they're so comfortable with that already, and it just gives them comfort. They can sleep.
I was just about to say, from a hack standpoint, the whole infant in lap, you think you're winning by not paying for a kid.
You lose.
You lose.
It's maybe when they're like really newborns, but as soon as they can wiggle around.
Once they can wiggle around, it's a nightmare.
So two ways to travel on a plane: the Duna stroller. So the Duna stroller, the one that's like it's basically like a car seat with wheels attached to it.
Yeah, it just breaks down into a car seat.
One hand breaks down.
Yeah.
It's FAA compliant, and you just pop them in the window seat. And the other thing we found, and I actually wrote this down, it's called the Yabby, WAYB.
Okay.
So it's Wayby. Well, I don't know how to pronounce it, but WAYB Pico portable car seat.
Yeah.
This thing is like a full-on car seat.
Yeah.
But it collapses and goes into a backpack. So it's like this wide, maybe like 8 inches wide by like 13 inches tall, but it folds out and extends to where like anybody anywhere from like a 1.5-year-old or whenever you're allowed the car seat all the way up to whatever it is, 8 years old can fit in this car seat. So then you're on the plane, you throw them in a car seat on the plane, and then when you get your rental car, if you're going to get a rental car or whatever, you put the car seat right in the rental seat as opposed to like, I got to rent a car seat from the rental company and all that.
Right.
So like those two products were like absolute hacks for us once we figured out. They're all expensive. They're insanely expensive. The one thing is like a $350 like.
The Duna.
No, the Duna's $350, but also the car seats.
Guys, we're name dropping a lot of brands. We should make sure we get the sponsorship.
They'll sponsor. They know what's up.
One of the things that we have that I used, it looks like almost like a furniture mover. and it has rollerblade wheels on it, and you can
strap your kids.
You can strap the car seat to it. So like the car seat that we take on the airplane, I put that together right when we get to the airport, and my kid can sit in it, and I just wheel them around the airport. So because she can't walk, it's a hike sometimes too, especially parked in lot C over there, trying to get to the airplane.
I do the valet. It's just easier.
That's been a good one.
Actually, I just dump the car. It's easy. I'll just buy a new car.
Yeah. But the minivan, a funny story with that. And I found the closer we are to home with trips, somehow we end up bringing more stuff.
You do. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, we were like an hour and a half from home. And I had to get a luggage rack for the top of the minivan, which is, I'm like, this is ridiculous, right? And that thing was packed because the main reason too, we wanted to bring bikes. We were able to bring bikes this place. Well, the bike rack I have was made more for a car than a minivan. So I kind of like get it rigged up so it works. And I'm thinking it's pretty safe. Coming home, I'm driving. We probably had been on the road for like 30 minutes on the highway. I'm just driving. These people are passing me. Like, I'm just waving at them just like an idiot. And they're like, your bikes. Well, the thing, all the slack had let out of the rack, and the bikes were just like an inch off the ground.
Like a Griswold.
So I was a guy on the side of the road being like, we might just leave him here. Because like you're going through so many emotions. I'm like trying to stay calm, but I'm just like, you know what? These bikes might just get chucked over the fence, and we can just go. I was able to recover it, but let's just say it was a stressful rest of the way home. But
how are you mentally prepping for this trip? Like in terms of like responsibilities, you and your wife, like who takes the lead? Like we've obviously discovered that Andrew doesn't do anything. Like how do you
taking a lot of mental reps right now?
Mental reps is so important.
Wait, can we take vacations as mental reps? Sorry, I gotta go. I'm gonna take the flight real quick. I got a mental rep to make sure I get down there.
I gotta plan this perfectly. No, I'm like I said, I'm pretty terrified because we have one that's just the two little ones.
You said that so calmly.
Constantly, trust me, it's just accepted reality at this point. I will say the AirPods with the noise cancellation, I have found that as a hack in the car.
Yep. Wait,
because
for you?
For me.
Oh.
Which I know is probably not the safest thing to do when you're driving, but I just said, listen, there's so much going on in this car now. I'm going to zone out. I'm going to listen to something. If you need me, just tap me on the shoulder.
You obviously listen to Chief Dad Officers.
There you go.
On repeat.
There you go. Yeah. Blow through the episodes.
That's right.
Like these guys.
They're hilarious.
All right, so we've got the AirPods. What else?
Yeah, the AirPods is a big one, and for the kids, I'm stealing Andrew's idea. I think the time release, like gift, almost like give them a gift they can unwrap.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds like a genius plan. Yeah. We're also attempting to leave at 3 a.m, so I'll keep you guys posted.
We've done it. It's
is it worth it? Is the question.
Do the kids stay asleep?
Oh yeah, they'll sleep.
They'll go back to sleep.
They'll go
that
back
early.
To sleep. So we've done the 3 a.m. departure. One day down to Orlando is what, I don't know, 16 hours or something like that.
But you don't feel like it messes up like your sleep as parents?
It does.
But my wife will typically sleep, and I drive the entire way. I'm one of those guys where I get in and I will drive the entire way. Yeah. There's no stopping.
So my wife is the one who insists on driving because she says that she gets car sick the whole time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So I snooze the whole time.
You sleep the whole time. Yeah. So that's why I messes with your circadian rhythm. You're like, I just slept for 20 hours. Let's go party, guys.
He's got his neck brace on. He's like, see you guys when we get there.
AirPods as well. She's dealing with the kids and driving at the same time.
But no, so we've left at 2, 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because the nice part about it is you're out of Ohio, which is about 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah, it is.
You're out of Ohio before the kids even start waking up.
Yeah.
You grab a Mickey D's breakfast, let them run around a little bit, back in the car, and then you're locked in for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And there's a couple times where you gotta, juice yourself up with a Red Bull or whatever. But I like those trips.
That's our plan.
Plus, it feels more of like a trip. We're doing something crazy,
exciting,
as opposed to 9 a.m. departures.
We did that coming back from Tennessee, visiting family. We didn't leave at 3, but we left maybe 4:30, and we found the kids did go back to sleep, and then the little ones still took their nap too, in the middle of the day. So it was you got 2 sleep cycles.
Yeah. You do get that golden moment during a car trip where the kids are all asleep. It's super quiet. And you and your wife get to listen to whatever you want to listen to.
Windows cracked. So you're cruising this is awesome.
You're cruising you're holding hands as well.
And then 37 seconds later, everything just explodes.
Mom.
You then start bickering.
Or the worst is when you're finally everyone's asleep and you're I really have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And you're I guess I'm not peeing for the next whatever.
Oh, adult diapers. It's actually
that's legitimately
that's a whole other topic we could talk about. But
adult diapers?
No,
I was kidding.
To diaper, not to diaper, because we have a kid potty training, and we were just driving back on Father's Day, and it was a 25-minute drive, and she's just I peed in the car seat. just told us, didn't tell us she had a potty.
Quick segue. How do you guys typically clean your car seats when there's a poop or a pee in there?
Bleach.
Well, but you're mid car. You're mid. You're
No.
mid.
Oh,
Do you want
yeah.
to take it apart, wash the thing, spray it off, whatever? Because ours would typically have like the cover.
No, I'm talking like mid. Like
Oh
mid
yeah,
car trip.
we have had
mid-
kids throw up. I've had
Yeah,
a kid
yeah,
throw
yeah.
up mid car seat, and we just
All
had to
bets
like.
are off.
I
I mean-
had to go buy trash bags, and I
Yeah.
bought a bunch of paper towels.
Oh
from
no,
a-
we keep that in the car. We always
Yeah.
have even though we don't have anybody in diapers, we have diapers.
Yep.
Because if someone's like, I gotta go, we just like sit in a diaper kit or something
Yeah.
like that. If there's nowhere to do
Right,
it,
right, yeah.
Then you always have to have like Lysol or some sort of disinfectant wipes, trash bags
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
pukers or
For
whatever
pukers, yeah.
else.
Yeah.
all those types of things.
What's your favorite threat? Like when you're driving?
Threat.
Yeah, to the kids.
Oh, like the dad threat. Like
Yeah,
I'm
the
gonna
dad
turn this
threat.
car around.
Yeah.
What's
a good threat? Typically won't give them candy or won't give them treats. Like they lose like, oh, you don't get dessert tonight. I was
Yeah.
gonna have dessert, you don't get dessert, or something
Yeah,
like that. That's
yeah.
typically what we'll do.
That's a strong one.
That's
Yeah.
a strong one.
I mean, we
because they know you're not going to turn the car on. Like it's not like you're really going to turn the car around.
I can't. You cannot give a kid a threat that you cannot actually like execute on.
Yeah, that's true.
So like if you're like I'm gonna beat you, like you're not gonna actually do that.
Yeah.
So don't threaten with that.
Yeah.
Threaten with something that you can actually like engage with, and then make sure you make it like a good one. So like okay, we're gonna stop at the gas station and everybody can get candy, but I told you weren't gonna get
Right.
dessert.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And the
That's-
kid's just like I'll never do it again.
Mental
Meanwhile,
warfare.
you still let them.
Yeah.
Whatever. You still give in.
What about the hotel situation? So like, because you guys are hitting that threat.
man.
Naveed, you're going to be here now. Like,
What do you planning
gonna
on doing
do?
with the hotels? Like,
I, as a rule of thumb, try and avoid hotels, and it's
Yeah.
usually just because of like the room configuration piece.
that's what I was going to ask.
And
like,
we've typically done ones where you end up using one of the bathrooms as like a bedroom
put
for
the
someone.
pack and play in there
Put the pack and
because
play
it
in
is
there.
dark in the bedroom.
But then the problem is like then the
gotta go to the
bathroom's
bathroom.
like out.
I'm going to the lobby.
That is kind of typically like how it.
and then the door
typically-
slams so loud
Yeah.
it wakes everybody up.
I
when you do
mean,
it.
just hotels are so inconvenient, like for having kids as well. We had my sister-in-law got married a few years back, and this is when we only had like my eldest at the time, and my brother-in-law and I were just hanging out in the hallway with the baby monitors in our suits, just kind of watching like the baby monitors while everyone else was like having fun, like at the wedding. Just hotels aren't made for
We
kids.
did find a hack though with that. So if you take the baby monitor, keep it in the hotel room.
Okay.
And then take your iPhone and FaceTime your wife's phone,
Oh, clever.
and then just leave that on.
We just did the phone. We didn't have the monitor. We would just
Okay.
do the phone. So
Oh,
we would like
clever.
FaceTime, leave the phone in, and then you just walk around.
Where was
with
this
the-
advice like 3 years ago?
Yeah,
when I
sorry,
needed
man.
it?
You should have
Listen,
figured
man,
that
you're
out.
still
Naveed.
living in New York. 3
That's
years
true.
ago.
That's
Sorry,
true.
wherever you were.
Yeah, wherever I was. Yeah. Simple time.
Yeah. Do you guys, Andrew, have to like get
So
a wing in the hotel or?
I personally I love hotels.
Yeah.
I love the like anonymity of a hotel. I don't have to go and make
clean anything.
Yeah, like I can't tell you how many Airbnbs we've rolled up in and just been like, I do not want to stay here. Like it looked amazing online. I mean, not Airbnb, whatever. Any of those
any
rental,
rental.
any rental
Yeah,
home. It's not whatever.
Yeah, Airbnb, we were available for sponsorship. to be clear.
You're just like, man, this is like not what was advertised. I've got kids that are pretty sensitive to like pet dander and stuff. And no matter what people say, like, oh, we don't have any pets or whatever,
Yeah.
like you walk in, within a few minutes,
You
you're
know.
like, yeah, they've got a cat or they got something here. So I'm not a huge fan of them. We use them all the time just because we do. But I love traveling in hotels. But with our kids, I mean, we try to get as many rooms adjoining as possible.
Yeah.
So like typically you can always find 2 rooms adjoining, which would be like Anna and I will be in one, and then we'll have like the youngest group in that one next to it. And then we'll try to find another set of 2 that are adjoining and we'll put the kids in those.
Okay.
And so it's like, it's a lot of kids per room, and I don't know what the legal requirement is, but you figure 4 kids a room and we buy 4 rooms or whatever, 3 to 4, and we kind of like get about 4 rooms and get a block. We call up and get a conference block.
Yeah, conference block.
Is there any conferences happening? Yeah, we need 4 rooms.
Yeah, it's a chief dad officer.
I've always
mini
wondered
retreat.
if hotels charge you more based on how many kids you have. Because like I remember growing up, every hotel we'd have to stop at, my dad would be like, stay in the car. He'd always go in and be like, 1 adult.
Yeah.
Like
they don't though. They don't.
I know,
Charge
I don't
you
think
more.
they care.
But they would always do. We very rarely stayed in a hotel.
Yeah.
But I always remember being like, listen. We're gonna go in. It was like, remember when you go to drive-ins? 1 adult. So you go. We're gonna go in, and we're gonna drive around back.
Yeah, we'll
and
go to the
everybody
side
gets
door.
out. Yeah, it goes in the side door.
Why wouldn't you just wear like a big trench coat and you have all your kids stacked on top of each other with like a big hand?
That's great.
What about traveling with family? So I'm not talking obviously like you travel with the kids, but what about extended family?
The trip we took out west was one of the reasons it went so well was my parents came.
Yeah.
And so I feel like once you hit a level of kids, and if you can bring help, man, that does change the trip. And that was like a mixed work trip for me. So there was a couple days where I really wasn't available at all.
Yeah.
And knowing that my wife had the kids, but then also had my parents was like a huge hack. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I hope my 2 youngest sister-in-laws don't listen to this podcast, because they, in the last couple of vacations we've done, we brought them with us, and they've been very helpful.
Okay.
Especially like in the evenings when
don't get their ego too big.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm saying. I hope they don't listen to it. But usually in the evenings, like my wife and I will put the kids down, and we'll just be like, okay, baby monitor's yours, and then we'll go off and like go out for like dinner and like do whatever. That's and cool. Kind of see places as well. So yeah, as long as you like your extended family, I think that's just a game changer in terms of bringing them. You guys want some travel stats?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's go through a couple of these. So, what's the average number of meltdowns per child per day on a family vacation?
We talking toddler? We talking like?
Is there an age gap, or is there?
This is actually below the age of 10.
Below the age of 10.
Yeah. The average number of meltdowns per child per day.
2.
I'm gonna go 4.
2.7. So let's round to 3.
Okay. Yeah. There we go.
And then in a 5-day trip, day 3 is statistically the peak meltdown day.
Oh yeah. They're all sugared up.
Yeah.
You as a parent haven't really been clamping down.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Day 4 is coming with a vengeance.
The novelty of the vacation's worn off at this point. Yeah.
I actually think the perfect vacation time is like 4 to 5 days. I'm not a fan of the full week.
Okay.
My kids are. My kids love the week or 2 weeks, whatever they can squeeze, and they love it. I think 4 to 5 days is kind of like a perfect window of time.
Yeah.
I listened to something recently that said you want it to be long enough that you have fun, but short enough that the kids like actively like want more time.
Yes, you're gonna miss it.
Yeah,
as opposed to be like, okay, I've done everything I need to do. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there comes a point too where you're like, I'm still trying to with kids. I still have to do all the things I did at home, but now I don't have all the things I had at home to like help me do. I mean,
vacation is just parenting in a different location. Yeah. That's really it.
Yeah.
What's the number one most forgotten kid item on a trip?
Sippy cups.
Oh, that's a good one. I was going to say some type of blankie or lovey or something like that.
Yeah. Stuffed animal.
Yeah.
Stuffed animals number one.
That I think is like normal, but like that's like oh crap, I forgot it. Whereas sippy cups, you roll up to the house and you're just like, we don't they got to drink out of a glass cup because it's the only thing this place has.
Yeah, we left ours in a Cracker Barrel somewhere deep in Tennessee at one point.
The old Cracker Barrel stuff.
We just got them for that too. We're just like, I'm like, it's gone. The Cracker Barrel got it.
You guys you guys do like whatever. You guys get houses, right?
Usually.
Are you like a Walmart run type guy? Like,
Gone.
Because one of my favorite things is like I drop all the kids off at the house.
Yeah.
And along the way, my wife has typically typed out a list of things either A, forgot, or B, need.
You're right. She's not type A, but continue.
And I'm like, send me the list, hon. And I do the Walmart because every Walmart is so different.
Yeah.
Whatever heard.
Oh, yeah.
And I love going to the different
cultural
Walmart.
experience.
Oh, dude, you're just like it is
the clientele that you get to meet.
And it's always like 10:30 at night is when I roll in like downtown Atlanta.
Yeah.
Police sirens everywhere. That's funny. What's the most common snack that gets smashed into car seats during a road trip?
Apple juice or goldfish.
Yeah, I was gonna say goldfish.
Goldfish crackers.
Yeah.
Goldfish
Apple
crackers.
Sauce, I meant not to
Applesauce. That's a classic too.
What percentage of parents have changed a diaper in a moving vehicle?
90.
Yeah.
Really? Moving vehicle?
Dude.
Yeah. At some
While
point.
driving, man.
I'm usually snoozing, so whatever my wife's taking care of.
Yeah, you don't know this, but she has changed diapers while driving. No, I don't know, 70%.
I'll do 60%. Yeah.
Yeah, 60%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot lower than I thought.
Yeah.
What percent of families end up with the parents sleeping on the hotel floor due to bed space issues? Something we were talking about before.
I've done it multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've done the pool out. I don't know if I've ever slept on the floor.
If even 4 kids is a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Like that's if the average person does it. I'd say like 40%.
What do you think?
I'll roll with that.
30%, and it's almost always the dad.
Oh, well,
of course. Yeah. That's part of being a dad.
If you haven't done it, I think you should do it, even if you don't need to, just to appreciate.
That's right.
What the other 30% had to do. So if you're in the 70, you should help bear the cross of the 30.
Even if you have just one kid.
Yeah, even if you have one kid.
Just one kid,
even if they're 17 years old,
your wife's like, "What are you doing tonight? Sleep on the floor."
Even if you don't have kids,
just sleep on the floor in a hotel.
Yeah.
Yes, you will catch a weird rash, but you know.
And then tell us about it. Tell us you did it. You could be in the CDO club.
True or false? Over 25% of parents have bathed a child in a hotel sink.
Oh, over? That's definitely over. True.
Yeah, I'd say it's got to be an over.
Yeah.
I'll take the over.
Yeah, true.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
For a family of 4, what is the average number of bags brought on a 4-day trip?
For a family of 4?
Yep.
Are we talking like suitcase bags? Like not backpacks?
I didn't make the question. I mean, just give me a number.
7.
I'll do 5.
9.3.
Holy crap.
Whoa.
3 for the parents.
So they must be like every little backpack.
It's got to be like backpack.
Okay, yeah.
It says 3 for the parents and then 6.3 for the kids, which includes like kid accessories.
And how long are you talking? Like a week trip?
4-day trip.
You said 4 day.
Yeah, 4-day trip. 4-day trip. What is the parents' top emergency clothing replacement item while traveling?
I mean, besides underwear.
Underwear's on there.
Yeah.
Top
T-shirts.
3. Yeah, puke for t-shirts, underwear.
Pants,
diapers.
underwear, socks.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's always a clothing run,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, everyone needs a spare clothes.
I was reading this guy who's traveled, I don't know how many millions of miles he traveled in his, like, life. And he was like, the thing people always do is overpack. He's like, there is no place on earth you're going to go that's not going to have a place you can buy clothing.
Right.
And he's like, and so, like, I've, like, in the last little bit, I've taken to that.
Yeah.
And it's weird because, like, you first off, usually only use about what, like, I typically would only use about 25% of what I packed.
Sure.
Because you're like, oh, these are my favorite shorts I'm going to wear.
Yeah.
And I can get them washed or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing is, like, almost every single hotel has laundry to where they can they'll launder your clothes for you. And so I've taken an approach where, like, I went from having like a full like carry-on to where now I'm like, I can kind of squeeze into like, unless it's like an event, like a wedding, I got to bring a suit.
Yeah. I mean, you can always turn underwear inside out. I mean, that's the other thing that you can do.
That's disgusting.
That's what I've heard. I've never done it. To be clear, I've never.
His Lululemon underwear is destroyed on both sides.
Not letting hotels wash that with whatever conditioner they're using.
We're going to upcharge you for that one, Naveed. Is this double worn? There's a check mark on there.
Both sides.
Skin mark on
I think even my kids do that. But, you know.
Oh my gosh.
Disgusting.
Surcharge.
Last one. What % of parents say they lie about how relaxing the trip was when they get home?
Oh, 100?
80%.
Only 33.
What?
No.
I know. I would have thought.
Andrew, you said this before, but you're like, if you're going with kids, it's a trip. It's not necessarily a vacation, right?
It's a trip. You're there on a mission, and typically it's, you know, to make sure your kids know you love them.
Yeah. Let's move to listener question.
Yeah.
So, if you could leave your kids at home for one trip, where would you go?
Wow.
Italy.
I've got this teed up too. Yeah, you go.
I'd go to Italy. I've never been. It's something that we've always wanted to do.
Yep.
It'd probably be pretty hard to navigate for the first time with 11 kids.
Yep.
So I'd pick Italy, like a full tour of Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
To go on like a ancestral voyage?
Yeah, a little ancestral voyage. You know, I'm from Sicily, so Sicily's a pain to get to. I've heard. I've never been, but they said it's a real pain to get to. But I've heard like Venice. I've heard Florence is like one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Never been there.
Yeah.
So just the whole trip of it. Would like it.
Nice. My answer's Italy too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because we're gonna go together, right?
Oh yeah, baby. What do you got? If you got Italy, this
I'm
is a trifecta,
I'm gonna go on a
baby.
limb here and say Italy. No,
Have you done Italy? Have you guys done Italy before?
We went to Italy for our honeymoon.
Okay.
And we're coming up to like 10 years together as well. So like
nice.
I feel like Italy to do again, post having a bunch of kids that we've had would be a really cool thing to do. And as you know, I am type A, and I kind of planned like in that honeymoon, we'd gone to a whole bunch of spots and we'd use the rail system. It's super easy to get to all the places you mentioned, like Venice and Rome and Florence. We did all of that, and it would just be really cool to go back again and kind of reminisce. And
we're the same way because we did the same thing, but we did not travel. We decided
for your honeymoon.
Yeah, but my wife, she studied abroad over there, so she had spent a lot of time over there already and kind of like saw all the stuff.
Yeah,
I wanted to see everything, but it was our honeymoon, so we just hunkered down.
Yeah,
like right off the Amalfi Coast there, and we just did day trips, and it was it was awesome. And then we ended up being able to go back a few years later, which we're able to hit some other areas. But I would think I would change my answer to say I'd go to Maui with just my wife again if it was just no kids. Because we did that too. That was like a baby moon, and it was one of those weird things where we had some miles probably from flying to Italy, and they did like a special like, hey, fly to Hawaii, get double your miles, something like that. And so we were just like in a position where like, let's take advantage of this.
And meanwhile, it cost him $20,000 just to get out there, but we got double miles. So.
No, dude, we did like, because Maui can be a very expensive place, right? There's beautiful hotels and properties everywhere, but we seriously did it on the cheap. Like we got a free ticket out there. We got a VRBO like in a like apartment building, so like we were able to do that. Our first stop was like Costco. We grabbed a bunch of food and like, so we were able to do it like in kind of a fun way, but like it was gorgeous. And I was like, we both like the beach, but I think we would try to pick like a city where you can do a lot of stuff.
We're an active couple as well.
Yeah, because I like being on the beach for like a day or two, but I'm kind of like, okay, but dude, Hawaii just hits a little different. Like,
have you been to Maui or any?
I have not. No, I've not been to Maui. Actually.
It's like, well, first off, Honolulu is not what you expected to be. It's like a Chicago. It's like you fly in,
big
it's like,
city.
They got like 5-lane highways. It's like a legitimate city. You think of it like it's
going
to be like nothing. But Maui is great. And then Hilo. Did you go to Hilo?
No.
So Hilo is like where all the sugarcane production was.
Oh, okay.
To where it's super rural still, but it's still got that vibe of, being on an island. Hawaii is really cool.
It's cool, man.
The next trip as a family, the next big trip we're going on is we all want to go to Hawaii. So it's been like something we've been planning for a while.
Nice.
So, but that's, whatever, 8 hours from LA. So you still got to fly to LA and then
it was 6 hours. We were 6 from San Francisco.
Okay.
I think,
it was like,
Maui.
I think we went 8 from Houston. We went through Houston. It was 8.
Yeah.
That's a long flight.
It's
with
a
kids.
long.
That's like,
I didn't realize if you get on a map, a globe, you're out there. Like it's the farthest landmass from any country.
It's insane.
Yeah,
so
cool.
Good. Maui.
Nice. Let's move to dad interests. What have we got this week, boys?
I got more of a gripe.
Oh boy.
All right.
And this might be a me problem.
You know what grinds his gears?
You know what grinds his gears? The 15th century. Get with the program. That's so funny. Bad haircuts, man. Like, are you guys like barber guy? Do you have your guy that you go to?
Actually,
my wife cuts my hair.
Yeah, my mom was a cosmetologist. My wife was a cosmetologist. Yeah,
your mom was.
So I've never, besides one time when I was abroad, and I've never had my hair cut by anybody else.
Oh man, you are blessed.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
What do you got going on?
Look, I've gone.
Your hair doesn't look bad now.
I go to different places. I give real simple instructions. Like I don't got much left.
Well,
up
give
there.
us the instructions.
I don't got much left up there. I'm just like.
Is that how you start?
Clean it up on the side.
This is your order.
I'm just like, look, clean it up on the side a little bit. I usually tell them like how like close to go.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, just let my hair be enough to like fall over. And again, I'm like, I don't got much left up there. I'm just trying to salvage what I got for now. And it always.
Do you show a picture of a celebrity as well?
Usually, yeah.
Clooney.
They're like,
usually
nothing we're gonna do here.
Like, buddy, you are
Jason Statham, Vin Diesel,
The Rock.
They give me one. They're like, we're thinking more like this. No, the best barbers just go, you got it, buddy. He just makes you feel like a
and he takes two and just goes,
1 second. In the history of I got it, buddy, no barber has got it. Just to be clear.
Yeah, it's true. But it's funny because it's like usually after I tell them like kind of how I want it, the first cut you can see them like and just like cut. You're like,
well,
it's over.
That's it.
It's done. This has been
full commit.
My fate has been sealed. So there are a couple people that I found that do good, but they're like as a guy growing up, me and my brother cut our own hair.
Yep.
It was easy. The butt cut back in the 90s. Okay, you just fold it over. You shave up and you let it flop back down.
Never heard it called the butt cut.
Yeah, every kid in the 90s, like high school, had a flannel and a butt cut, hair down to their nose.
Channeling the inner Nirvana.
Yeah.
And all of
yeah.
us.
That was it. But so like, and then I would just go to wherever. And when you get married, your wife like has a person, like they have time. They schedule it months in advance. She's like, Matt, there's people that do this. You could like schedule this, and they always do a good job. The people that she recommends, but it's always like, but then I gotta like schedule a haircut like so far in advance. And my hair is short anyway, so I have to cut it often. But what about you, buddy? Your wife does that?
She
beautiful?
does that. Yeah. Similar to Andrew, she also used to cut hair for a period. I think during college she was working in hair as well to kind of pay for her way through school. And then I had a guy or multiple guys like out in New York that I kind of cycled through, and then we kind of had this conversation where she was like, well, I can cut your hair. You don't want them to cut your hair because
that goes bad.
Were you married at the time she said she can cut your hair?
No, we weren't married at that point.
Been there.
This might have been his test.
It did feel like
you
a
gave
test
her a picture
because you don't want it to go badly.
Oh
because
no, right? It's like relationship.
It's a huge test.
Yeah,
it's a huge test. And then she did cut it, and I looked in the mirror and I was just like, oh boy, we could work with this. This could be great. This could be great for everyone.
That's great.
And she can't complain about it.
She
Even
can't.
if she does the wrong
well,
thing.
her funniest one, which always like cracks me up, is when she cuts my hair, and she'll be like, "Did anyone give you a compliment on your hair?" Because really, what that's doing is giving a compliment to her.
Oh, sure.
Sure.
I'm like, "Oh yeah, so and so said it looks good," and she's like, "I knew it." I was like, "Oh, okay." But yeah, that's me.
Awesome.
So save a lot of money and get a nice haircut.
That's great.
On top of it. Cool. Why don't you take us home, Matt?
Yeah, guys, thanks so much for listening, first of all. And we want to hear from you. So if you hear this podcast and you got thoughts about what we talked about today, please leave us a comment. You can comment on Instagram, Facebook, You can leave comments on Spotify, Apple. And it'd mean a lot if you could subscribe as well. If you guys like what we're doing, you want to get notified every time a new episode comes out, just hit that subscribe button. That helps us too. But yeah, we appreciate you all listening, and until next time.
Yep. Cheers.
Thank you.